the frantic corners in the corner. Come on, get away and fight. One minute between McGuigan and victory. The hardest man he's ever had to fight, and almost all the way, he's handled him brilliantly. Staggers Laporte with the right hand. He came out of that mix-up of punches there with one tremendous right, and Laporte almost went. Unbelievable excitement in this place. There's only 10 seconds to go, and Laporte's a beaten man. The bell's gone. I thought it was coming later, but it's all over. It's all over. And McGuigan is a runaway victor, a runaway winner, no question about it. The most brilliant performance of his life against the most dangerous man he's ever met. But he's done it on points, and he's done it in style, and the whole of Belfast tonight will be celebrating.
The win put Barry in line for Eusebio Pedrosa's world title, but the champion did not sign easily. Barney Eastwood, McGuigan's manager, chased him halfway around the world and kept upping the money until Pedrosa at last put pen to paper for a fight in London. Laporte, McGuigan's previous opponent, had been in the ring with both men, so he was the ideal person to compare them.
I fought both of them. The better boxer of the two is Pedrosa, because he's got the skill, you know, and everything. Barry is a busy fighter. He's a busy fighter. He's always on you, throwing punches, you know, moving. But the skill, you know, Pedrosa has. He has it. Barry has the strength.
Pedrosa's record was daunting. He'd been world champion now for more than 7 years. And although the record did show 3 defeats, they'd happened a long time ago. Pedrosa hadn't lost a fight since 1976. McGuigan was 5 years younger, and he'd seen off all but one of his 27 opponents, most of them inside the distance. There was no question about his punching power, and he had a lot of reach for a man of only 9 stone. The countdown to the most important day of McGuigan's life now began. At this stage, Barry was still driving himself every morning from his seaside training headquarters in Bangor to Barney Eastwood's gymnasium in the very heart of Belfast. In the pubs of Ireland, the McGuigan banners were flaunted, and it mattered not whether you were drinking in a Catholic pub or a Protestant one. All around you, they were talking McGuigan. Thousands were making their way to the local travel agents to book their trip across the Irish Sea. If Barry was fighting for the world title in London, that's where you had to be.
Good afternoon, JWT. Can I help you?
48 hours to go, and in London, the build-up was taking place. On Queen's Park Rangers football ground near Shepherd Bush, they were laying acres of wooden boarding to protect the man-made turf. The ring was taking shape, and out on the streets of London, McGuigan and his manager were instant celebrities. Meanwhile, from Ireland, plane loads of McGuigan supporters began the journey they hoped would end in magnificent celebration.
Well, Frank.
Friday, the day before the fight. Pedrosa, the defending champion, was putting in his last few hours of light training. It wasn't easy for him to get down to 9 stone, but with comparatively little media attention, at least he could get on with it in relative peace. McGuigan, well, he had a rather different round of social.
Well, I've trained very hard. I've done all my work. It's all over now, so it's time to knuckle down.
At Friday's test weigh-in, Pedrosa looked optimistic. What was he trying to tell us? When Barry arrived, he had a shock. He'd said he didn't want to meet Pedrosa until the day of the fight, but Pedrosa had deliberately waited for him. This was their first ever confrontation, and Barry didn't look too pleased about it. Pedrosa had chalked up one small psychological point. The day had come. Saturday, June the 8th. The battle between Pedrosa and McGuigan began in a cinema at the weighing-in. Eusebio Pedrosa, the 29-year-old champion of the world, comes to the scales in nothing but a pair of very flimsy canary-coloured boots.
The man in charge of the weigh-in this morning is Ramos Jordan, Vice President of the WBA. On the scales now is the champion, Eusebio Pedrosa.
On and off almost at once. And already a little row starts, and as a little row starts about Pedrosa's weight, so McGuigan arrives in the auditorium, hence the tremendous reception going up off stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eusebio Pedrosa weighed in 9 stone even.
We have a little sensation now. Barney Eastwood says, "We're not fighting unless I see the champion on the scales." So now the WBA official, Ramos Jordan, and other officials gathered around those scales have got to sort this out, and Barney Eastwood's waving his arms and saying, all right, if that's the way it's going to be, we're in fighting. And we have a deadlock because the WBA representative will not give way and he will not call Pedrosa back. And somebody has got to resolve it.
I protest at this treatment. I protest very strongly, and I'm disappointed in the British Boxing Board of Control, and I'm disappointed in the WBA. We're now going to go on. We've lost all the rounds.
So the McGuigan camp have given in and expressed disappointment with both British
Gentlemen,
and WBA
please, thank
authorities.
you.
McGuigan on the scales, as flimsily dressed as the champion was. And he's made the weight. While that row was taking place in mid-morning, the fans began to gather outside the QPR ground a few miles further west. You could still get a ticket at a price. Irish optimism was everywhere. And so, to the fight. The ring, a blaze of light beneath the night sky. The atmosphere, that very special one that every big fight held in the open air seems to have. There were 25,000 people here on this night, among them somewhere Barry's wife Sandra and their son Blaine. The longing for a McGuigan win was overwhelming. It's well nigh impossible for them to push their way through this huge throng. People blocking the aisles, and the challenger can't quite get to the ring. And in fact, it took many minutes for police to carve a way to McGuigan's corner through this wildly excited crowd. And McGuigan in danger of being swamped by his own fans before he even reaches the ring. And Pedrosa's had a slightly easier passage to the ring. McGuigan's blue flag of peace is waved. And for McGuigan, Danny Boy, sung by his own father, Pat.
Your referee this evening is from South Africa, and he is Stanley Christo Dolo. Ladies and gentlemen, your referee.
The referee is from South Africa, Stan Christodoulou, who is refereeing a Pedrosa world title fight for the 5th time. 15 rounds for the World Boxing Association title. Can McGuigan do it in front of this astonishing crowd of people? Pedrosa, 5 feet 10, 4 inches tall, long reach, but no longer, amazingly enough, than McGuigan's. Pedrosa instantly goes on his bicycle. Pedrosa's 45th fight, and nobody has beaten him since 1976. McGuigan smiles as he chases. It's McGuigan's 28th fight. Just one defeat near the start of his career. Pedrosa using all this huge ring. It's a maximum size ring, 20 feet inside the ropes. And Pedrosa is covering every inch of it, and Pedrosa picks up the first caution from the referee for holding. Strip lighting blazing down from this red and white canopy under the night sky. McGuigan's face is reddened by the attention of Pedrosa's left jab. Pedrosa's eyes fixed impassively on McGuigan. Their heads rub. Pedrosa half a head taller. Pedrosa very alert. His mind's on the job. And he knows he doesn't have an easy challenge here. And McGuigan smashes through the first good punches of the fight. 2 punches, left and right. But he has to take a right under the heart. They break off at the end of a scintillating first round. Fast. And McGuigan looks at Barney Eastwood, his manager, just outside the ropes. And they look at each other with satisfaction. McGuigan's face quite red, where the left hand of Pedrosa was beating into it as Pedrosa retreated. They have the same reach, near enough, about 70 inches. McGuigan had to chase, and he came through with 2 blasting punches towards the end of the round. But shortly after, he had to take one back under the ribs. Oh, what a start. And this 25,000 crowd seething, there's no other word for it, with excitement and patriotism and emotion. It's all here, under the stars. I think Pedrosa's trying to place himself a bit in this one. It's dangerous with that bolo. So far, I haven't seen either man flinch under a punch. And there's been a lot of hard punching. McGuigan's having to take punches to get inside. Pedrosa scoring as he goes back. So far, it's as good a round as Pedrosa's had. McGuigan's punches are falling short. I'd be surprised if the pair of them aren't feeling the pace already. Pedrosa impassive and cool, and still looks grimly determined to hold on to this championship. McGuigan's work has not been so effective in this round. He hasn't found the range. Yes, he did! He's going with the right! Oh, the champion's over in the 7th. He found him with the right. Compulsory 8 counts. Is the title about to change hands? 30 seconds to go. Can McGuigan do it here and now? We thought he'd find him with the left hook, and he found him with the right. Seconds left in this round. There's the bell. They don't hear it, and I'm not surprised. Pedrosa on the floor from the right hand in the 7th round. And I can hardly, as I shall speak to you, under the inferno of sound that is crashing about me from every part of this Queen's Park Rangers Stadium. Here we are again. What a moment it was. All his work had fallen short, and then the right had him, and a little left followed it up. And he needed that 8 count, believe me. From our overhead camera, we see it again. What a beautiful right hand this was. He was going away to the ropes. Oh, never saw it coming. And the longest reigning champion in the world has had the indignity of being floored. What a sensation we have on our hands. Scheduled for 15. The pace has never slackened. Pedrosa drops back into that familiar routine again. On the bicycle, poking out the left hand. Trying to keep McGuigan at a safe distance.
Left hook again from McGuigan. He found him with it. Relentless assault from the first bell by McGuigan. Only once or twice has he ever taken a backward step. Oh, good right again, and once again it's in the same spot in the ring. The same place where he put him down. This man Pedrosa year after year comes up with performances like this, where he can take punishment and come back. He can make 9 stone amazingly year after year. One of the great champions of all time. So what does that make McGuigan? Good right from McGuigan, and his legs are gone. The champion could be on his way out. Round, and the bells come. Nobody's heard the bell, including the referee. The manager of Pedrosa's in, and Pedrosa is on very, very rocky legs as he goes back to the corner. There was so much noise here. The whole place was cheering for McGuigan. I heard the bell, but the two fighters and the referee didn't. And Pedrosa is in real trouble. Here we are again. Right at the end of the round. Out he came with that right hand again, and the left followed it up, and the aging champion's legs were like paper as McGuigan went for the finish. Before he could finish it, the bell had come. What excitement. What a night. Pedrosa reeling around the ring, and the bell had gone. And Pedrosa's manager had to come to rescue him. Not yet 2/3 of the way. Come on, says the referee. Pedrosa's still on his stool. They're trying to get the maximum rest. And the corner, Pedrosa's corner, ordered out of the ring. McGuigan's corner also in the ring. The whole place is going berserk with excitement. Round 10, and McGuigan's on the verge of winning the World Featherweight Championship. The little man has never stopped coming after the champion, and maybe the champion won't be able to take it for much longer. Pedrosa backs up, but his legs have gone. He can't keep away. The strength of McGuigan, the determination of him, looks as though it's going to tell. And suddenly, Loftus Road is ringing with glorious sound. McGuigan on the verge of one of the greatest victories ever seen in a British ring. Can he put the finishing touches to it? The old champion's mind is working well again. He's got his senses back, but I don't think he's got the strength in his legs back. Round Pedrosa's still there. In come the punches again. As Pedrosa weakens towards the end of the round, so he becomes very vulnerable indeed. And his legs look spent again. And there is a tired, not dispirited, but tired champion. Alaminta, did you think Barry might have finished it in that round?
Yeah, I thought he was capable, Harry. But what you got to think, I mean, what a good champion. I mean, he's been on the floor a couple of times, he's been gone a couple of times, and yet he's still come back into the fight. You know, Perry's doing everything right. I think just one more punch on the chin, and I think it'll be all over. But this shows a mark of a great champion, doesn't it? A man that's been tagged, a man that's tried everything. He's taken body shots, punches to the chin, and he's still winning the fight, you know.
Well, as I said earlier, I think it makes Barry McGuigan look pretty good if he's that good.
It makes Barry look a little bit special, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does indeed.
Second count, round
13. 3 to go. And once again, the champion is very slow to come off the stool. It just shows you what you have to do to beat a good world champion. McGuigan seemed to have the fight in his pocket, and it hasn't quite turned out that way. McGuigan, caution about the elbow. Takes a left hand as he tries to come in close. Pedrosa's playing his old tricks. He's coming strong at the finish. He seems to have almost totally recovered from that earlier trouble. And McGuigan will have to be careful. The man is looking dangerous again. What pressure he's put this champion under. He's made all the running, McGuigan. Always attacked, always taken the fight to Pedrosa. I've got him well ahead, McGuigan. But there's no denying that Pedrosa is still dangerous. Pedrosa's hurt. And a left and another left, and he's going. He's going, the legs have gone. It's the 13th round, and Pedrosa's on the verge of defeat again. Is this to be the round? Is this to be the lucky 13th for McGuigan? He's got him reeling. One more good punch would do it, surely. Pedrosa hangs inside. No respite for him. What a great champion he is. Look at him up there trying to survive. 5 seconds to go. The bell's going to come to his aid again. There it is. And once again, Pedrosa goes to his corner. Saved. Absolutely astonishing. McGuigan had the fight within his grasp again. And Pedrosa somehow has survived. The mark of the truly great champion. He is not going to give this up without one hell of a fight. More action from that round. It was the right hand that started all this trouble, and then the left hook was brought to bear. All of them to the head. And perhaps, if Pedrosa hadn't been such a great champion, this referee might have stopped it at this point. But he gave him the benefit of the doubt and let him survive. The 14th coming up. He grits his teeth. The crown on his head, hanging by a thread.
Pedrosa comes out, full of fire and life again. What a man he is. Thrown over, no punch. And he's told off about it. Pedrosa was holding, and Barry threw him away. Good left hook from McGuigan, and I think Pedrosa went inside because he was hurt. We've seen a truly great fight here between two great fighters. The fight worthy of the setting. Pedrosa being picked off again and again by the left hooks. And the old champion takes them with dignity. He must know the crown has almost gone from him. And yet he's still in there, giving it his best. Heaven knows how tired Pedrosa must be, and yet he refuses to let it show. It's hurting him again. And when Pedrosa's mouth comes open, you can see the blood on the gum shield. Then the right hand. Seconds running out. Last 10 seconds of this round, and then we're on to the last. They don't hear the bell again. Pedrosa looks tired, McGuigan looks eager, and Alaminta, let's have a last summing up before they come out for the 15th.
Well, it surprised me, Harry, how the champion can keep going. 1 minute you see him absolutely gone and you think he's going to get knocked out. Then the following round he comes out as fresh as a daisy. I mean, that's the sign of a great champion. But the way McGuigan's boxing, I mean, it's superb, isn't it? I mean, you're talking about you're coming into the 15th round now, and he's as fresh and alert as ever. And he's not just that, but he seems to be getting stronger.
The final 3 minutes of a truly wonderful fight. And McGuigan has put on a show here which has raised British boxing to almost unprecedented heights. And he's hurt Pedrosa again as Pedrosa closed. He got him with the right again. And Pedrosa's told off for holding. Is he going to go the distance? Or can McGuigan finish him? 25,000 people singing McGuigan home to victory. Pedrosa pumps his arms. He tries to find something with which to stop this little dynamo, the Cloner's Cyclone, coming at him, and he can't. McGuigan's inside, throwing punches and reveling in it. Pedrosa can barely hang on. He's so desperately tired now. But he's going to try and take this through to the final bell if he can. The excitement is almost unbearable. I've never heard such excitement in my life as this crowd is creating here. McGuigan going for the win. He's got him with the right hand again. 20 seconds, and then it goes to the referee and the two judges, but there must only be one winner. 10 seconds, and Pedrosa is going to survive. What a marvellous champion. He takes 2 rights at the end, and that surely must be the end of Pedrosa's reign as champion. Everybody in the place is acclaiming McGuigan the victor, but to make it official, we have to wait for the official score. But McGuigan is hoisted on his handler's shoulders. They've already decided that there is only one winner, and they are surely right.
Who should be in this ring?
Unbelievable scenes. People fighting to get into the ring, to get at their hero. And until the ring is cleared, I don't think we shall get the official result. Ove Overson of Denmark, Fernando Vizo of Venezuela, and the referee, Stan Christa Delou of South Africa. They're the 3 officials who will give the decision. Somewhere in all this is Barry McGuigan's young son playing. The 2 fighters fall into each other's arms, and it ends in comradeship and sportsmanship while we wait for the official result. What a night this has been at Loftus Road.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the result. A unanimous decision. Barry McGuigan has
won it. McGuigan is the champion of the world. They've all voted for him, and all 25,000 people in the stadium had already voted for him. At 24, the Clonus Cyclone has swept one of the world's great champions out of the way and is proclaimed a hero and a world champion.
How you doing, Honky Tonky? Your daddy's the champion of the world. Get Sam to sit there, will you please?
Sandra, would you get beside Barry?
Hey, Honky!
And so, home to Ireland. It was always going to be a special kind of welcome, but had Barry and his family really bargained for the tidal wave of love and affection that was about to wash over them? The city of Belfast turned out in its thousands to greet him with this civic reception. It seemed that every man, woman and child in the place wanted a glimpse of their world champion.
Thanks to all the kids for coming off school, and thanks to the teachers for allowing them out. And thanks for coming down. And I'm sorry that I can't shake hands with everybody and give us all a cuddle. I'd love to do it with each and every one of us. And I love you all. It's great to be home.
He was taken on this triumphant ride in a mocked-up boxing ring through the Belfast streets. Every window was a gallery for well-wishers, and through it all came the battle cry, ringing out over and over again. Three months later came the first defence in Belfast. Bernard Taylor, the challenger, was an American who up to this point had never lost a professional fight, and he'd had 34 of them. He was 28, and he proved to be an elusive and evasive customer. Only hours before the fight took place, he'd had to sweat off a considerable amount of excess weight, and we wondered how this might affect him. I still can't believe myself that that business at the weigh-in this morning hasn't left some sort of effect upon Taylor. How can you do 20 minutes skipping before the weigh-in and 20 minutes after on the day of a big fight and not have it affect you in some way, physically or mentally? Well, that's what he did. Wrapped in plastic and sweatsuits and heaven knows what. Pulling on. His head rubbing in McGuigan's face again. He's coming in close more often now. He's looking for breathers. And the tide is certainly turning. This is the typical McGuigan style of non-stop pressure. This is what wore Pedrosa down, although Pedrosa was a great champion. Through with a combination there. The first time he's really got in with a good combination. And suddenly the flight of Taylor begins to look desperate rather than planned. A most definite swing in the sixth. This is the first clear-cut round for McGuigan. And Taylor's work is beginning to look very ragged indeed, and the King's Hall knows it. And there was so much noise, you could hardly hear the bell at the end of that round. And suddenly, the crowd in the King's Hall, they come alight with pleasure because they've seen McGuigan finally burst through the defences for the first time. Here we are again. Taylor began to look extremely worried, and suddenly he was walking onto punches that previously he'd avoided. There's nobody more destructive than McGuigan when he has a man on the way. McGuigan's lead strike now. And McGuigan signals to Taylor, watch your head. Taylor now desperately looking for something to stop this man coming at him. What a fighter this McGuigan is. Taylor knows, and this crowd knows, that things are going against him. Everybody knows better than McGuigan that it certainly is not easy. The inside work getting a bit rough now. And there's the bell. And McGuigan has had another good round. The noise in this place really is quite incredible. There is no other arena anywhere in the world that generates this sort of extraordinary excitement. The corner working calmly over McGuigan, feeling confident now. And I wonder what they're saying to Taylor. He may have done his best work by now, and he knows that McGuigan is coming looking for him all the time, and there'll be no respite. Taylor absolutely drenched in water, and the referee's going to have it wiped off rightly, trying somehow to refresh him. McGuigan sporting the dove of peace on the leg of his trunks. But there's nothing peaceful about this little man when he gets going in the ring. Right hand underneath, low from Taylor. McGuigan's first defence, and by any standards, a memorable one. Taylor is being fought to a standstill. No more movement in the legs. 8th round. Desperate moments for the challenger from America. The punishment simply sweeping over him and around him and into him. And McGuigan looks to his corner and he smiles as much as to say, I'm doing okay, don't you think? There's the bell. Terrific round for McGuigan. And so all the advantages that Taylor had at the start have been wiped out. And Taylor looks like a desperate man in his corner. He's shaking his head. He's looking at his seconds. And they're throwing it in. They're throwing the towel in. Taylor doesn't want to go on. What an amazing turn of events. McGuigan has kept his title. Taylor can't go on. And the scenes around me, absolutely amazing as this crowd erupts into triumph. McGuigan does it again. He turned on too much power for the weight-weakened challenger, and Taylor decided he'd had enough. What an amazing turn-up. And what an amazing year it had been for McGuigan. But 1985 still had one more triumph in store for him, a tribute from the nation's viewers. When the votes came in for the BBC Sports Personality of the Year, they showed that the little Irishman had come out on top once again. McGuigan frowns a little as he takes a jab, but he's beginning to get in close. He's warned about a low punch. And he had trouble with that in Dublin, the low punching. McGuigan coming forward most of the time, hunting. Cruz's best punch so far is the jab.
Watch your heads, watch your heads.
Watch your heads as the caution from referee Steele. Good opening round by McGuigan. He must have won it. So that was a brisk and lively start from the champion. Barry McGuigan, now 25 years old, just 5 feet 6 inches, 30 professional fights, 29 wins. And if you count his fights for the British and the European titles, tonight this is his 9th major title fight. Round 2 coming up. The sun now dipping very low in the sky, and it won't be long before it dips down behind the stands. Both men sweating considerably. McGuigan intent on attacking. Sometimes doesn't make this fast a start, but he's impressed himself on Cruz early. 2 good counter punches there from the Texan. And again, he's caught with counters. Cruz is smart. More even round this than the first. And Cruz's jab might prove a little troublesome. Good punch again from Cruz. McGuigan walked right onto it. He had no protection against it. He's so intent on forcing the pace. He's coming in open, and Cruz is picking him up as he comes in. Not a good round for McGuigan. And suddenly, you remember the story of the odds shortening, and you begin to wonder a little. And again. Cruz proving awkward and menacing. Good round for Cruz. That might well have leveled things up. And here's a little replay from that opening round. This could well be, yes it is, I thought it might be, some good stuff from Cruz. He really got some accurate jabs and some right counters into the head of McGuigan as McGuigan continued to advance.
All right.
That's McGuigan's corner you can hear. The corner have been telling McGuigan to go for the body. He's going for the head. Oh, fought with a good right. Cruz is quick with the counters. That was a good right from McGuigan. And a good uppercut. And that only made Cruz fight the harder, but he was hurt. And another good right from McGuigan, who's beginning to get the range. And looking so determined. Round 3. And suddenly this is looking an overwhelmingly good round for McGuigan. And he's taken a bit of the sting out of Cruz. And that right came from way back, and he caught him well with it. And Cruz is in some trouble. One little reminder that he's not beaten yet. But what a good round this has been for McGuigan. Got the man caught on the ropes, but he couldn't make it pay. And suddenly, McGuigan is unleashing an attack that's far beyond anything Cruz can mount, and Cruz is caught again by the right. It's the right hand of McGuigan that's reaped all the dividends in this round. What a good round. And McGuigan looks very closely at Cruz just to assess what damage he's done. Tremendous round for McGuigan, and Cruz suddenly looks not such a dangerous fighter. Round 5. Determined little fighter McGuigan is. His third defense. We've had so many world champions, well, not so many, but we had a few world champions who unfortunately have lost the title in their first defense. But McGuigan is turning out to be a lasting champion. Cruz's jab beginning to work again. Again, a left hand dropped a little low, and he was warned again by Richard Steele. Another big punishing attack from McGuigan. The boy from Texas is tough enough. Surely McGuigan must soften him up sooner or later. And as McGuigan mounts another big attack, so the bell comes, and he smiles. He looks well pleased with himself as he returns to the corner at the end of the 2nd. And McGuigan comes running off his stool. The temperature has dropped considerably. Probably only about 90 now. McGuigan very much in command at the moment. Very much so. And it's a very much more impressive performance than he had with Cabrera in Dublin. The first time, Cruz drove him back. You have to ask yourself how long they can go on at this pace in this heat. Remember, it's scheduled for 15, and that's a lot of boxing, and particularly at this speed. Good attack from Cruz. And McGuigan's in trouble. He has to come in and hang on. He was hurt. He made his own attack, and he caught a good punch in reply, and it hurt him. And suddenly Cruz sees his chance. Round 6. And Cruz is getting the come-on signs from his corner. They suddenly see the chance of the world title staring him in the face. And McGuigan grins and grits his teeth, but he's getting caught. And these are bad moments for the champion. McGuigan in definite trouble as he comes forward. He's walking into punches. The tables were turned with a vengeance in the last minute of that round. Here we are. One punch transformed this. That, I think, was the one. That was it. He came in and he needed to hang on until his head cleared.
Get it forward. Stand the squat. Stay in the squat. You're okay. Come on, keep your composure.
And Cruz has got new life, and you can hardly wonder at it. Getting the right hand in over the top now. McGuigan's going to need all his skill and all his strength and courage here to come through this. He's getting ripped by punches as he walks forward. And again. And suddenly everything is going Cruz's way. McGuigan, has he gone too fast, too early? Is the strength running out? It looks as though it might be. He's picking up every punch that Cruz throws. It could be that McGuigan has shot his bolt. It could be that he's having weight problems. Again, a right hand from Cruz. And Cruz's right eye is beginning to discolor. Another low one from McGuigan. He's had several cautions about that.
Touch gloves.
Good referee. Good right from McGuigan. Suddenly McGuigan has got back into it and found new strength again, although the counter's there again. What a fight this is turning out to be. And McGuigan grins all over his face as he goes back to the corner, as though he's enjoying it. And McGuigan, I think, may have some damage on his face. Left eye, I think, has got a small cut. He has indeed. Round 8. Both now carrying the marks of battle, and this has been some battle. Fought at a furious pace in searingly hot conditions. And if McGuigan thought he was going to come out and get it over quickly, I'm afraid he's been badly disillusioned. Good lefts from Cruz. McGuigan's favourite combination, the right to the head, the left to the body. But it still doesn't quell this strong, tough, and very brave challenger, who still sees himself with a chance of winning the title. This has suddenly turned into an even more difficult defence than the last one against Cabrera. Crack of heads there. Cruz looks tired, and then suddenly he comes out with a couple of good punches. McGuigan bleeding again, but not badly. McGuigan trying so hard to finish this, and this man will not go down. But finally, to me, it looks as though Cruz is beginning to get himself into trouble again. And yet, again, he comes back. Some fight, and this crowd in this open-air arena in Las Vegas are absolutely reveling in a real humdinger of a fight.
Not doing right. 1, 2. Separate, please. One, two, left hook. You're okay here. No problem. Clap your left hook. No problem, Barry. 1, 2, and clap your left hook.
Pick your shots and you're going to take him out of there.
Oh, you're right in this win.
But box.
So.
Box.
1, 2, left hook.
Box. You see him going, he's going to go away. He was almost away. And he's near knackered. Now, Sandra and the kids are depending on it. Go on, go!
Sandra and the kid. Barney Eastwood reminding him the wife and son are sitting out there watching, and it's as much for them as for himself that he's got to keep this world title. A lot of advice coming from the McGuigan corner. Cruz shakes his head, perhaps surprised that McGuigan can keep up this remorseless pace and pressure. But if you want to be world champion, that's what you have to do. And tonight, McGuigan has come through a very bad patch indeed, but he's survived it and he's come on. Now, has Cruz got anything left with which to surprise him? Yes, he may have. Indeed, he has. Good punches by McGuigan once again. The Texan trapped on the ropes in the 10th. But still, this remarkable challenger bounces back. Good punch, he's got McGuigan over. Left hand, he's hurt him. McGuigan's badly hurt. He's looking to his corner. He's trying to gather his sense and listen to the count. He's up at 8. Suddenly, Cruz is inside of the title again for the second time. Will McGuigan survive this one? Round 10. 1 out of the blue. What a dangerous man he is. So McGuigan's got to pull it all together once again if he's going to win this. Sign that Cruz himself is feeling tired because he hasn't followed up. Again he catches McGuigan, and there's the bell, and that doesn't come a moment too soon for McGuigan, who looks a bit unsteady as he goes back to his corner. He's taken a few very hard punches there, and you saw the one that put him down, and he was hurt. So there is some panic in that corner now, believe me. There it was. Funnily enough, when he was on the floor, he was clutching his right side. But it was the punch to the head. There you are, did you see that? He was winded.
Now, keep your composure.
So another sensation in this fight. McGuigan has been in bad trouble twice as we come out for the 11th. If Cruz produces another left hook like that, McGuigan's title may be no more. The Texan is looking menacing again. It's beginning to look as if McGuigan, if he's going to win this fight, will have to win it over 15 rounds, because it doesn't look as though he can stop Cruz, but Cruz might well stop him. The Texan now doing the chasing. The boots on the other foot. Everything is different. Cruz now waiting his chance and picking his punches in this 11th round. And McGuigan looks anxiously towards his corner, and he looks very, very tired, and he's got a cut on the other eye now, in the corner of the right eye. McGuigan wants to keep this title. Somehow or other, he's got to pull himself together and box his way through to the 15th round. But by some extraordinary resolve and courage, McGuigan seems anyway to have pulled himself back into the fight yet again. But he's got 2 cuts. Well, Cruz may well be feeling disappointed that he didn't put McGuigan down again in that round. And McGuigan has got more trouble because now they have to deal with a little cut on the side of the right eye as well as the one on the left.
Punch in spurts and put 4 together, you'll put him down, I'm telling you.
And Cruz looks calm, as though he's prepared to wait for his chance. Well, the money that came pouring in from Texas late in the day proved to have been pretty wise money. One thing one has to say, and that is that McGuigan really couldn't have been weak at this weight, or he wouldn't be here now. And once again, it seems to be turning McGuigan's way, although you can sense the danger even outside the ring in those fists of Cruz. McGuigan's strength is phenomenal because he's pulled himself back from the brink of defeat. McGuigan again open to the counter. And again, Cruz is getting the come-on signs from his corner. And McGuigan has to be very, very careful now when he punches. He's beginning to pick up the counters again. Another big attack by McGuigan. And this time, the judges are being told about the low punching, and he's had several cautions about that. So we must assume that that will cost McGuigan this round. Good punch from Cruz, and he hurt McGuigan again as the champion came into him. And McGuigan looks battered and tired as he goes back to that corner at the end of the 12th. And these two men, you can't help feeling really now, must be very near the end of their tether, because to have fought 12 rounds at the pace they have, and with the amount of punishment they've handed out, is really quite remarkable. There's that menacing left hook again. That was the one that put McGuigan down in the 10th. And believe me, Cruz came close to putting him down again there.
Punch with him inside. You got him, he's ready to go. He's just a tough...
3 rounds left. Cruz runs out of the corner. And it's all up for grabs in these last 3 rounds. It's even money now. McGuigan has been on the floor once. Cruz, not at all. Again, the right hand this time from Cruz. And every time Cruz throws those counters, so McGuigan's crown wobbles. Good attack again. Where does McGuigan get the strength from? And it's Cruz this time who has to hang on. This looks to me like a very crucial round indeed. How does McGuigan find this sort of strength at this stage of the fight? After what he's been through. This is superhuman stuff from McGuigan. But if he does leave himself open, Cruz might still have the punch with which to put him down. Big round for McGuigan again. And where he's pulled it up from, heaven only knows. Big round for McGuigan. Tremendous round for him. Puts him way back in the lead. In fact, I think he's got a pretty big lead, because when you look back at what Cruz has done, he's had a couple of good moments. But apart from that, McGuigan has always forced the pace and thrown far more punches. Well, this was a good attack again by McGuigan here, threatening to sweep everything Cruz had aside. But despite everything, he still couldn't put this Texan on the floor.
They're depending on you. From a squat, do you hear me?
Remember, I win the fight.
Job and move, kid. Do you hear me?
Let's go, let's go.
And McGuigan comes out at the trot this time. If he can just keep out of the way of Cruz's left hook for 2 rounds, he'll keep the title. If. And still McGuigan is fighting like a demon, not caring too much about defense. And suddenly, once again, Cruz has found a new lease of life. These two are giving absolutely everything they've got in this fight. This is the 14th round. This is the round in which McGuigan beat Cabrera. And he's threatening to do it again here. A tremendous punishing battle, round after round after round. We've come a long way to see this, but my word, it's been worth it. Cruz draped against the ropes, but out he comes fighting yet again. What a remarkable fight. Good right from McGuigan. Cruz seems to be absolutely impervious to punishment. And the pace, unbelievably, is as fast now as it was in the opening round. Round for McGuigan. He did all the attacking. He carried the fight all the way to Cruz. We have 3 minutes left of a sensational championship battle for the featherweight crown here in Las Vegas.
Nailed him with that right hand right.
Everybody's standing as they come out for the last round. The whole crowd standing and applauding. McGuigan has looked as though he could be beaten. And is there going to be a third? There is! There is! He's in trouble again and he's holding on. And he held on because if he hadn't, he'd have gone down. So Cruz is still not beaten. And this crown could yet change hands. Isn't this amazing? From Cruz, and McGuigan yet again is in trouble. So close to the finish, and now again so close to defeat. And he's got him, McGuigan over, and he doesn't quite know where he is or what's hit him. Compulsory 8 count. And he's going to his corner and looking at it as much as to say, what is going on here? Cruz finish it here and now? 15th and final round. Will Cruz stop him? He might. It's all McGuigan can do to stand on his feet. He's out on his feet, and only the boxing brain is keeping him clear of trouble now. No punches being thrown. McGuigan's just looking for safety, and there's nowhere to find it. He's gone again. He's gone again. He gets up early again. It's a compulsory 8 count. And we're close to the end of this fight, and McGuigan is close to losing his ground. He walks back into trouble. If ever a bell was needed, McGuigan needs it now. Because one more big attack by Cruz, and the referee, there's the bell, and the two of them, amazingly, are on their feet at the end, and Cruz is being hoisted as the winner. I don't know about that. We've got to see. McGuigan won a lot of rounds. He had one taken away from him. He's had 3 certainly bad rounds. We'll wait and see. But the Americans believe they've got a winner.
Here is the official scoring for this WBA Featherweight Championship bout. Angel Tovar scores at 143-142. Judge Mirado Villalobos scores at 143-139. And Guy Yutras scores at 142-141 for the winner. From the great state of Texas, the new champion, Stevie Cruz.
I must say I felt myself that Barry might have kept his title, but 3 judges here disagreed with that, and Stevie Cruz, 22, is the new WBA featherweight champion.
I think it was a fair assessment of the fight in the end. I think it was, the other guy just nicked it by virtue of the last round. And Barry gave his all. He became a bit hydrated just towards the last half. And I mean, this was a heat telling, and although we'd been out here 5 weeks, these are the things. The other thing is, I would like to say, the conditions that we worked in this corner, it was hell. If hell in that, I'll take my pick of hell rather than that corner. There was no room to work. There was 4 of us in the corner. There was a wee number of steps. You couldn't put your bottle down. You couldn't put your bucket down. I've never seen conditions like that. And I'm going to protest to the WBA. I have nothing to say that Barry McGuigan didn't lose the fight. I think he did lose it. But we could have helped him by ice buckets and other things that we couldn't get our hands on. The conditions were really unbelievable, Harry.
Do you think Barry will fight at that weight again?
Well, you know, a lot of people say, did he have trouble making the weight? He didn't have trouble making the weight. He made the weight and it was okay. But I must confess, after seeing him tonight and the way he flagged in the last few rounds, maybe 4 pound heavier would be a better weight for him. And it would be my intention now to try and negotiate a fight with Alfredo Lane, who's the new junior lightweight champion, and he's the WBA champion. He comes from Panama. And who knows, we may fight him maybe in Ireland if he would care to come.
Well, we'll see. But last night, 2 of the 3 ringside judges for the fight gave the last round to Cruz by a clear 3 points, scoring it 10-7, a most unusually wide margin. McGuigan was ahead on 2 cards after the 14th round. Cruz became the new champion in those 3 last minutes. Well, poor McGuigan, nowhere near the performer that we've been watching over the last 2 years. His confidence seemingly shattered even in the middle of the fight when he was imploring his cornermen to say a prayer for him. Well, after the fight, he spent the night in hospital for precautionary observation, exhausted. Well, he's now recovered sufficiently to talk to Harry Carpenter, and Barry's wife, Sandra, is with them.
Barry, we can all understand the disappointment you must feel about last night, but first of all, physically, how do you feel?
I feel fine. I didn't get much sleep last night, obviously, so we got about 4 hours sleep. I'm perfectly okay. I had a brain scan. I'm going now at 1 o'clock for a further, it's called a KMG or something. It's a more clearer picture of the skull, and check everything's fine. They checked me with the brain scan last night. There was no bruising, no bleeding. No breakage, everything's fine.
Do you feel sore, bruised?
I feel a bit sore around my face, like I was quite badly bruised around the cheekbones and head and that, but I mean, apart from that, everything's fine.
Now, you've had a night to think about things. What do you think went wrong?
Harry, first thing is, I should never have fought here in June. The 23rd of June, on the 6 o'clock in the evening. We should never have done that. No, we've gone over this 1,000 times. I didn't like it from the very beginning. I didn't like the trip. Too severe, too tiring, too far away from home, and it takes too long to acclimatise. I mean, I was speaking to a doctor last night who said he's here 3 years and he still hasn't got used to the heat.
And he is an American. He's been used to this type of heat at some stage of the year. But I mean, you just can't breathe here. Sure you can't.
Well, you can't breathe, and my feet blistered very badly during the fight. My toes and the ball of each foot. And I don't want to make excuses. The guy beat me and beat me fair and square. But I slowed down dreadfully in the last half of the fight.
How do you feel, Sandra, about the future for both of you now?
Well, both of us are very young, and I think Barry has got a very good future. Leaving boxing aside, I think he's got a lot of other things that he can do that he's very good at, and I'll just back him whatever he decides. I think it's going to take him a wee while to have a rest and enjoy the kids and enjoy himself a wee bit, and then he'll get a clearer mind as to what he's going to do.
This hasn't affected your sort of desire to go on boxing, has it?
Certainly has, Harry. It has affected my desire to box on. This is a hard sport, Harry, and I'm sure any professional fighter out there will tell you that it's not just the fight. It's the build up to the fight. It's getting up in the morning and wanting to train very hard. And I always love to train. In fact, I always was my worst enemy in overdone things. But the one thing I'm worried about is that maybe I've lost that little bit of eagerness to train and get up in the morning and train in the gym every day. And I'm hoping that within 6 months I'll make my own mind up and decide one way or the other. But I want to take a long time to decide. I've never had a rest for a long time.
So you are saying to us that this might be the last time we've seen Barry McGuigan box? Might be.
Sure is. It sure might be the last time you ever see me fight again. But
you've had 4 fights, Barry, in the last 12 months.
I've fought very, very competitively, and I've had hard fights. I haven't had easy fights, and I've worked very hard. And I've been at this game since I was 14. I've trained like a professional since I was 14 years of age. So it's time now to make up my mind whether I want to continue or not. I think I've got other qualities. I can get on to and talk to people and discuss what business I can do after boxing. I just hope that there's somebody out there that wants me. I want to say before I leave that I'm very disappointed for all the people, for all my fans who stayed up to watch me. There's nobody as disappointed as me.
You didn't let anybody down, let me put it that way.
Thanks, Harry.
And everyone will be disappointed if you decide not to box on, but if that's how it has to be, we wish you both all the very, very best for the future.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Harry.
Good evening, welcome to Dublin for the biggest boxing occasion this city has known in 63 years, since one Mike McTighe lifted the World Light Heavyweight Championship here all those years ago. Tonight, of course, it's that man McGuigan defending the World Featherweight crown for the second time. His opponent, Danilo Cabrera. This young man, an outsider, very much an outsider, from the Dominican Republic, aged only 22, but ranked 6th in the world by the WBA. Now, the hero worship that
McGuigan enjoys knows no boundaries in Ireland, and the atmosphere that he's likely to encounter when he steps into the ring here in a few minutes' time, I'm sure will be equal to that we normally see in the King's Hall up in Ulster. 6,300 people here to witness the fight, paying from £30 up to £150. But there are stories of astronomical prices being paid for tickets on the black market. We've heard sums of £1,000. And with the Irish having gone down to Wales in the Rugby International this afternoon, there'll be even more enthusiasm, if that's possible, for a McGuigan win here tonight. Well, alongside me, as always on these big boxing occasions, former middleweight champion Alan Minter. People here are saying it's an easy occasion for McGuigan. I think that's based on ignorance because they don't know much about Cabrera, but he's 8-1 on McGuigan. What do you feel about it?
Well, I think it's a big odds on, but the thing is, Cabrera is a puncher.
He's got a good knockout record.
That's right. In fact, in 1985, he had 6 fights, 4 wins by knockouts. So the man can punch. So you've got to give him a puncher's chance. I mean, the thing is, he's going to be trying. He was in training to defend his own title in the country he lives. His management have come in and they said, you're now boxing Barry McGuigan for the Featherweight Championship of the world. And it's a dream come true.
You must think he's on another planet, really, because he's a fairly poor country boy, a good young pro in his own country. He's come here, he's been treated like a star, and he's earning a fortune.
This is it. I mean, it's a big... it could upset him or he could rise to the occasion. I mean, he's working the fields in his own country. He's boxing every now and again for peanuts. He's come over here and the food's all laid out. Everything's for him. So it's a different world to him, Des. You know, he could either race to the occasion or he could go.
Right. You must have had occasions in your time when it's happened here, of course, where originally the original opponent was Fernando Sosa of the Argentine. He gets injured a few weeks ago. They find Cabrera, who's in training.
Yeah.
What does that mean to McGuigan? Because he will have had to kind of change his approach. That must have happened to you in the past.
Yes, it has. You know, your opponent pulls out. It's very frustrating. You think to yourself, oh, you know, you've got to change your sparring partners. Thank God they found him a new opponent. But you see, McGuigan's a pro, a good pro. He's his featherweight title's at risk, so he's just going to get on with the job, and get on with the job I think he will.
And he's a cool man too, isn't he?
He's cool, you know, he's determined to keep hold of the title as long as he can. And I think we've seen an exciting fight.
Well, it was hard-earned, that title, and let's just reflect now on how McGuigan won it. It's not so very long ago, is it? It's back that heady night in June at Shepherd's Bush in London at the Loftus Road football ground when he beat the great Eusebio Pedrosa, remember?
I'd be surprised if the pair of them aren't feeling the pace already. Pedrosa impassive and cool, and still looks grimly determined to hold on to this championship. McGuigan's work has not been so effective in this round. He hasn't found the range. Yes, he did. He's got him with the right. Oh, the champion's over in the 7th. He found him with the right. Compulsory 8 pounds. Is the title about to change hands? 30 seconds to go. Can McGuigan do it here and now? Good right from McGuigan, and his legs are gone. The champion could be on his way out. 9th round. And the bells come. Nobody's heard the bell, including the referee. The manager of Pedrosa's in. And Pedrosa is on very, very rocky legs as he goes back to the corner. There was so much noise here. The whole place was cheering for McGuigan. I heard the bell, but the two fighters and the referee didn't. And Pedrosa is in real trouble. 20 seconds and then it goes to the referee and the two judges, but there must only be one winner. 10 seconds, and Pedrosa is going to survive. What a marvellous champion. He takes 2 rights at the end, and that surely must be the end of Pedrosa's reign as champion.
That's when McGuigan won the title back in June, and of course, what a wild night
that turned out to be. Well, the fighters will be entering the ring here, incidentally, in just a few minutes' time. We've got another very welcome guest with us tonight, a great supporter of McGuigan, and indeed Irish sport, is the way he tells them. Frank Carson. It's good to see you here.
Yes,
You're a
lovely
McGuigan man.
Oh, absolutely. Well, he's a superb athlete, though, isn't he? You forget about boxers being athletic. I mean, they run on the road, they take weight off down to the last ounce, they know exactly what they can punch. And it doesn't matter how good a manager is. He might be able to spot a flaw in the other fella's defences, but you're still in there. And let's be honest, somebody might say, like Alan would say, well, he was a great puncher when I was a young lad. My father used to take me to watch his fights.
Badminton.
And a superb athlete as well, Alan, and great punchers, but like somebody in there, well, he doesn't punch his weight, but if somebody's hitting you 40 times a round for 12 rounds, by God, you couldn't count a ton and bet even money after that.
He's got star quality, McGuigan, too, hasn't he? He sort of transcends boxing.
And such a lovely, a very un-Carson-like fellow. Quite the reverse of me, the bombastic, big idiot Irishman, whereas
come on,
here you've got...
fair to yourself.
I know. He's a cracker. But yes, he's a lovely fella, and he's on a hiding to nothing tonight, really, isn't he? He's not going in with a mug, let's be honest.
That's right.
Can you imagine somebody saying, excuse me, Frank, you're a nobody, I'm now giving you a television show tonight in front of 100 million people, and this, of course, this young fella's walking out there, Kabir, and he's going to be out there
Well,
trying.
it'll affect him one way or the other. It might be his chance, and he might grab it, or it might sort of totally defeat him on the way to the ring.
McGuigan is always in tip-top condition. He's out every day. You could pull him in off the street and say, there's another fella around the corner tomorrow. He'd still go out and fight. He's in superb condition.
One of the slight problems for McGuigan is that all the people out there, 6,000 of them, think it's an easy one for him, don't they?
I would think they do, because but the boxing public are very fickle. You could be Alan Minter, the world champion today. You could beat tomorrow. So who was that?
Yeah.
And they are the worst crowd in the world, to be quite honest. Irish are very bad sportsmen. I say, if you had a Rolls Royce in Ireland, somebody would say, instead of saying, oh, I'd love to have a Rolls Royce like him, they're probably saying, I wonder how I could get that off.
Did you go to the match this afternoon?
No, I didn't. I was very lucky I didn't go, actually. I flew in from London, actually, just for I should have been in Spain tonight, but I turned it down because BJ, of course, Eastwood's in Parliament for over 30 years, and he's a wonderful man as well. He's a very kind man to me, and I'm looking forward to this.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, Frank, and thanks for popping in.
I will do, Desmond. Not at all. Thank you very much for asking me to go up, and lovely to see you, Alan, and I'll see you in May for the old golf.
Yes, golfing, yes.
Thank you for asking me, Alan.
Not at all.
Goodbye.
Alan, we were talking about the possible punching quality of Cabrera there. Now, when McGuigan defended the title the first time, for his last fight, of course, against Bernard Taylor, everybody knew then that he was up against a superb boxer, but a non-puncher, really.
Well, this is, the thing is, Bernard Taylor, I had Bernard Taylor 5 rounds in front, going into the 5th round.
He was boxing McGuigan's head off for a few rounds.
Absolutely beautiful, but then he lacked power, and he was catching McGuigan with right hands, but if he could have hit, if he was a banger, he might have hurt McGuigan.
Of course, he couldn't bang hard, and in the end, McGuigan, of course, got on top of him and overpowered him, and the man sort of faded away when he'd been going pretty well.
And
we'll see it.
McGuigan sporting the dove of peace on the leg of his trunks. But there's nothing peaceful about this little man when he gets going in the ring. Right hand underneath, low from Taylor. McGuigan's first defense, and by any standards, a memorable one. Taylor is being fought to a standstill. No more movement in the legs. 8th round. Desperate moments for the challenger from America. The punishment simply sweeping over him and around him and into him. And McGuigan looks to his corner and he smiles as much as to say, I'm doing okay, don't you think? There's the bell. Terrific round for McGuigan. And so all the advantages that Taylor had at the start have been wiped out. And Taylor looks like a desperate man in his corner. He's shaking his head. He's looking at his seconds. And they're throwing it in. They're throwing the towel in. Taylor doesn't want to go on. What an amazing turn of events. McGuigan has kept his title.
McGuigan defending the title in Belfast back in September. Here's another Barney Eastwood man now, Harold Graham. Congratulations on your tremendous fight against Cooley just recently. You were absolutely superb, I must say.
Thank you.
Now, Barney Eastwood's done a marvellous job, it seems, for you already, and of course he's done a great job for McGuigan. What's he got that perhaps some managers don't have, do you think?
Oh, it's very reassuring. If he says something, you go out and do it. I mean, he says that the fight's going to be held in Sheffield. Not Ireland, not in Denmark. Anyway, it says Sheffield, and someone's going to take out lawsuits against him. But got it back to Sheffield. I had my own supporters there, and had a terrific night.
If he says it'll happen, it'll happen.
Definitely.
The crowd are getting worked up here now.
I'm getting worked up.
What would you feel about either of you coming out into this sort of atmosphere? It's happened to you, this kind of atmosphere with world title fight. I don't think you've quite experienced this sort of thing, Harold.
Not as much as this, but if I get these behind me, I'm definitely going to have a world championship. I'll
yeah?
get it, I know.
You like the idea of it? Would it not unnerve you, the possibility of coming out into this kind of thing?
No chance at all. I'd love it, honestly.
They're talking about getting you and Hagler together. The man, of course, who took Allen's title. You feel confident about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got to be confident in boxing. If you're not confident, then it's no use being in the sport, and I am confident.
And what do you look at the atmosphere here? It's quite tremendous. It rivals Belfast, without a doubt. McGuigan, of course, there's Frank got back to his seat. But McGuigan's boxed in Dublin before, but never with an atmosphere quite like this. But what are your feelings about this fight tonight, Harold? Because, again, just to repeat, everybody sees him, he's 8-1 on. I mean, that's a hot favourite.
Barry's prepared for the fight tonight, although he's had a change of opponent. His opponent is going to throw everything at him. He's going to try to upset him, but he's not going to do it. I think Barry should take him around round 5 and 6, because I've heard that the guy, he likes throwing punches and he can throw a few bombs, and if he's left any open spaces, Barry will find them.
People just say, well, there's only one ring there, and when you're in the ring, it doesn't matter what the crowd's like and all the rest of it. But I don't wholly believe that, because I've seen fighters affected by crowds like this. And this young boy, 22, he's hardly been out of his own country. It'll surely, well, it'll do something to him, won't it?
Oh, yeah. I don't think it'll boost him that much, especially with the Irish crowd behind Barry. It's going to lift Barry to the highest. And, like, what he's going to do, I think he's going to walk out there, throw a couple of dummy punches, and I think he's going to end it in... With
early?
Very early.
Yeah?
I reckon.
What do you think, Alan? You think that too, an early finish for McGuigan here?
Yes, I think for a start, the man's going to come out Cabrera and he's going to listen to the crowd. He's going to think, I've never witnessed something like it before. That's 4 rounds up from McGuigan. And I think, yes, once he lands them body shots.
Right. Well, the crowd are doing it for us. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We're about to see some, I hope, tasty action. The crowd are telling us all. Here we go, they're saying, and here we're going for 15 rounds, potentially, of championship boxing with Barry McGuigan defending that title for the 2nd time against this man, Danilo Cabrera. Well, the challenger will shortly be coming out to enter the ring, so let's join our ringside commentators. Terry Lawless tonight is with Harry Carpenter.
Thank you, Des. There is nowhere in the world today, except Ireland, where you see such scenes as these. 6,000 odd people here, and I swear 99% of them are standing up now to get their first glimpse. First of Cabrera. Heaven only knows what it must be like to walk out of your dressing room and to walk into this solid wall of sound. And not very much of it is for you. Danilo Cabrera, 22 years old, Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. ranked number 6 by the World Boxing Association, whose title McGuigan holds. So the challenger is in the ring, and now all attention turns to the entry of the world champion, Finbar Patrick McGuigan, Barry McGuigan, the Clonist Cyclone.
Marketing Director of the Irish Permanent Society, Mr. Enda Hogan. Let's hear applause, come on, for the Irish Building Society. Big thank you to the Irish Building Society.
This fight being beamed around the world to Cabrera's own country, into the United States. It's estimated that some 120 million people are watching at this moment. And we await the arrival of McGuigan. McGuigan will be 25 at the end of this month. Tonight, his 30th professional fight. How much opposition will this man give him? Danilo Cabrera, known in his own country as Cuero Duro, which means tough as leather. He'll need to be. The crowd draws a breath and ready to let go when they see McGuigan. We have an American ref tonight, Ed Eckert from Miami, and the two judges, Mr. Perez from Panama and Mr. Rodriguez from Venezuela. It's unlikely, I suspect, that the judges will be needed. Long wait for Cabrera. The opening moments here will be dangerous for McGuigan. Cabrera suddenly gets a shot at the world title out of the blue. He may never get another one. This is the one chance of a lifetime, and he's going to do his best to take it. You can bet on that. And here we go. Is the chant coming up from the crowd? And they're right enough, because I understand McGuigan is on his way from his dressing room. This whole place, this city, awash with excitement this weekend. What with the Rugby International this afternoon, and now the big fight tonight. And you can see what it's like around the ringside where we are, packed with pressmen and media men from all around the world. It's only the third world title fight ever seen in Dublin, and here comes the hero. It's McGuigan. Blast of sound as he gets into the ring. Well, I think in so many ways this young man is the most astonishing thing that's happened to boxing on this side of the Atlantic in my lifetime. He gets better and better, and I don't honestly think we've yet seen the best of McGuigan. So, the stage now almost set for this second defence of the WBA featherweight title. Well, as you know, he won back in June at the Queen's Park Rangers football ground in London. I don't think McGuigan is by any means underestimating the opponent. He knows very well what it's like to get a chance at the title. He knows the man will come out swinging at him. He's got to come and take the title, so he's bound to be dangerous early on. And now the whole company assembles, centre stage, for the playing of the national anthems. And McGuigan's blue flag of peace being held in the centre of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you all be upstanding for the national anthem of the Dominican Republic?
McGuigan keeping warm throughout the anthems. There was hardly a moment when he wasn't jigging about. And now McGuigan's father, Pat, is going to sing the song that's now become traditional of Barry's fights, Danny Boy, the London Derriere.
And down the mountainside.
McGuigan's father, still in pretty good voice, a man who once won a third place in the Eurovision Song Contest back in the 1960s. So, the preliminary is over. Danny Small, our MC, is one of the McGuigan clan. Our MC is ready in the centre of the ring for this fight, promoted and sponsored tonight by the Irish Permanent Building Society. Here's Danny Small.
Contest of the evening for the WBA World Featherweight Championship. 15 3-minute rounds of boxing between Daniel Cabrera and Barry McGuigan. At the weigh-in this morning, Cabrera weighed 125 pounds and 2 ounces. H. Stone, 13 pounds and 2 ounces. McGuigan weighed 125 pounds and 8 ounces. H. Stone, 13 and 1/2 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner, on my left, the challenger from the Dominican Republic, Daniel Cabrera. On my right, in the blue corner, the world featherweight champion, Barry McGuigan. Your judges for this contest, Luis Rodriguez of Venezuela, Edward Levine from Miami, and Rogelio Perez from Panama. Your referee is Ed Earpart from Miami. The supervisor for this contest is Mr. James Binns from Philadelphia. Your timekeeper, appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, Mr. Dan McAllister of Belfast.
Well, Danny Small could barely make himself heard even with a microphone. And above the chanting, the here we goes from McGuigan's fans. A scheduled 15 rounds. Very few people here tonight believe we shall ever get that far. Cabrera and his camp politely applauded McGuigan when his name was announced. So McGuigan's second defense underway. Cabrera compact looking. They're both trained to a hair. Not an ounce of spare flesh on either of them. The first thing Cabrera will notice will be the long reach of McGuigan. He's got a 70-inch reach, which is the equivalent of men umpteen stone heavier than him. Big hands, long reach. You can so often find an opponent, and the opponent can't find him. And if Cabrera has been affected by this extraordinary reception that McGuigan gets in Ireland, it doesn't show on him. Cabrera very quietly and logically trying to work his left hand into McGuigan's face and showing a rather dangerous looking right cross. Cabrera is certainly going to come looking for him with the right. Panamar's pace. Slight caution from the American referee to Cabrera for ducking too low. McGuigan's made a brisk start, too. Good opening round. And if Cabrera keeps this up, he's not going to be the pushover some people thought he would be. Good, even opening round. That was a good round. So McGuigan knows, if he didn't know already, that the man in the other corner is not going to be any sort of pushover. The McGuigan statistics, just the one defeat. Peter Eubanks, who's already boxed here tonight, the only man who's ever beaten McGuigan, back in McGuigan's third pro fight. McGuigan now just a few days away from being 25 years old. This man is going to be Ireland's first sporting millionaire. Terry Lawless is with me, manager of 4 world champions. What do you think of that first one? That was a good opening round, I thought.
Well, as I said, if Cabrera's nervous, he doesn't look it. He's not showed any emotion at all. I've watched him all the way through the ceremonies. The corner were a bit excited, jumping about, but he's not changed his expression. And he certainly didn't look a bothered man. But it's very early to say yet. He caught McGuigan with one right hand, so he can obviously punch a little bit. But you know, it takes Barry a little while to get started.
A very determined attack by Cabrera. He knows this is his chance, and he's going to try and take it if he can. McGuigan can't afford to make any mistakes. I wonder if those 8-to-1 odds have suddenly changed a bit. Got a nice left hand in underneath McGuigan then. Got right underneath the elbow. No sign of weakness at all yet from Cabrera, taking good body punches. This is a very tough second round for McGuigan. He's being pushed all the way here. Now know for sure that they can take no chances, and Barry is going to have to work to win this. A little bit of a swelling coming up around McGuigan's right eye. Hope that doesn't give him too much trouble later. Dangerous looking right shot there by Cabrera. But we know McGuigan can take a good punch. We saw Carver hit him hard. We saw Laporte hit him hard once or twice in the days before he won the title. And he took those well enough and came back. Good left straight through the guard from McGuigan. McGuigan's right eye has definitely got a problem. He's got a swelling coming up. And it's looking a little worse than it was a minute ago. And they're definitely going to have to do a little work on McGuigan's right eye. There's the Cabrera record, 2 defeats in 24 fights. A little bit of argument about his record, but we think it's 24. Now then, McGuigan most certainly has got a problem. Because he's got a nasty-looking little bump. Let me ask Terry Lawless, if that was your man, would you be a bit worried about that?
I think he got a thumb in his eye. It looks like a swelling right up on the eyelid itself, underneath the eyelid. And I think he gestured that as he went back to the corner, he got a thumb in his eye. It certainly looks like it's right the place for a look. They're showing out the corner now.
The corner are trying to tell the referee that he's had a thumb in the eye. That's quite right, Terry. So, not only a bit useful, Cabrera, but a bit rough as well. And the referee, in fact, has gone over to Cabrera's corner to tell them to be careful of the thumb. So these are very serious moments indeed at the start of this defence for McGuigan. If this man can keep this sort of work up, he is going to prove an immense problem. McGuigan's going to have to find something fairly soon to bring him up short. Finding him. The question now is, when he does have to start taking a few, how well Cabrera will take them. He was knocked out in the third round in a national title fight in his own country by a man called Manuel Batista. One of his 2 defeats. The other was on points in America. He's a rough, tough opponent, is Cabrera. Standing in close, and he's trying to find McGuigan with the right. And he's found it. Well, this will never go 15. McGuigan quite happy to stand in there close with him, pulling out all his repertoire of punches. This is a hard fight, head to head. And the referee's seen a bit too much of the head-to-head. Stand up. Well, if you take 9-2 against Cabrera, you wouldn't be feeling too unhappy at the moment. That's a good punch. He pushed him right back on his heels. He's bringing the best out of McGuigan, there's no doubt about that. Not a moment's respite for the champion. He's got to work. He's beginning to dissuade Cabrera. The man's beginning to look a bit ragged. Coming up, never like to hear that because this is anything but easy. But he's just beginning to impose himself on Cabrera. He's still dangerous, this challenger. That was some round. And McGuigan pulled out all the stops there. And we've had 3 great rounds here. Terry, they're always dangerous when they get a chance for the world title like this, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think he's come out with I think he's got a 6-round fight in his mind. You know, Barry's ready to go 15 rounds. I think this fella's going to give it all he's got till he runs out of steam. And he started to slow up halfway through that round.
Here we are, this replay from that third round. McGuigan pulled out an awful lot of punches here. And once or twice, he pushed him right back on his heels like that with the left hand. That will have shaken Cabrera. We can see that again. It's just a simple-looking left hand shot out, but it rocked him right back. Almost went off balance. And they're still working on the eye that had the thumb in it. in the second round. That's Barney Eastwood, his manager, with that steel. What do you call that?
An iron, I call it.
An iron.
Made just like an iron.
So this has been some fight so far here in Dublin. Cuero duro, tough as leather. And young Mr. Cabrera proving himself to be like that. That's still a long, long way to go. A lot of punishment still to be handed out. His left hand out. Well, it's been ruled too low by the referee. It's on the borderline to me. And McGuigan. His eye looks no worse now. Not so much right hand work coming from Cabrera in this round. Sticking with the left most of the time. He felt one or two of McGuigan's punches in the third, and he's not quite as anxious now to mix it. Trying to keep it at long range with the left. He's getting picked off. You see, that long reach works again for McGuigan. He sticks the left out and he finds the man, and the man's out of range himself. McGuigan working well in this round. Elusive as could be. Shifting laterally all the time. The shoulders are moving properly. He's evading most of Cabrera's work, and he's very quietly giving Cabrera a bit of a working over. That was the right counter from Cabrera there. See what a complete little fighter McGuigan is these days. He can box it, he can punch, he can turn it on when he wants to. He really is a good champion. So Cabrera goes back to those corner men. His manager is Hector Rivera. In that corner too is Greg Benitez, the father of Wilfred Benitez, a man who's won world titles at 3 different weights. So this man, despite the fact that so many people in Dublin thought this was going to be no sort of fight at all, and that McGuigan would get it over very quickly, Cabrera is proving to be quite a handful. A pro only since 1983. He won his first 9 fights all inside the distance, and then he came unstuck in a fight for the Dominican Republic featherweight title against Manuel Batista, and he was training for a fight with Batista when he was called into this one. He's since won that national championship, by the way. McGuigan looking across at the referee, waiting to be rescued. Meanwhile, Cabrera was whipping a little punch into him rather low. Different tactics again this time for Cabrera. Gloves high up, wants to come in close. Using his elbows as well. The more accurate work coming from McGuigan. Cabrera's work being taken on the arms or going over the shoulders. But still dangerous, nonetheless. Heads rubbing again. Cabrera pressing forward, but pressing forward into punishment. Slinging a lot of punches, but very few of them are effective. Meanwhile, McGuigan's work is very effective. Heads bashed together again. They push their shoulders against each other. It's a rough, tough old fight, this one. McGuigan shows that if he's going to be pulled into a war, he doesn't mind. And he's been hurt. He's complaining he's been hit low, Cabrera. And the referee has gone to one of the judges, and Cabrera is making the most of it. The referee is going to the three judges, proclaiming a low punch by McGuigan, which will cost him the round. We'll have a look at that again later. That's a good right from Cabrera. And for the moment, McGuigan's lost his tempo. Disturbed by that warning. Taken right out of his stride. Everywhere. There we are. That was some round again, and there's no question at all, I think, that the three judges will take that round away from McGuigan for the low punch. If it was indeed low, it was certainly, Cabrera certainly complained instantly about it and then made quite a bit of it. Now, let's have a look at it again. Let's just have a look. There's been a lot of punches on the borderline. Well, there was one punch there that looked as though it might be low, and that was the one he complained about. A bit difficult to see from that angle. We've got another angle on it. Let's have another look. There again, it's masked, but it looked when it started travelling as though it was likely to go low, certainly. Anyway, it's been proclaimed a low punch by the referee, and the judges have been told so. And this corner certainly considered it so. So on we go in a fight that is testing McGuigan to the utmost. And the Cabrera camp a bit slow to get his gum shield back in. Cabrera. He didn't have too good a round in the fourth, the challenger, but he's come right back from it, and he's as strong as ever. One or two of Cabrera's punches are now threatening to go low. Another one low. There's a lot of borderline stuff going on here. And McGuigan, undeterred by that warning, he's still going with the left down to the body. Another one. That looks a bit low to me. And Cabrera's turned his back on him. Told to get on with it by the referee this time. I think McGuigan needs to be just a bit careful. What would happen in this arena if he were disqualified for low punching, I dread to think. Is McGuigan's strength and pressure becoming too much for Cabrera? It's beginning to look like it again. He's finding it with punch after punch. And nowhere. And another warning, or a caution anyway, for low punching to McGuigan in the 6th. Challenger knows he's in a fight now. There's no doubt about it. McGuigan relentlessly keeps the pressure on. He's such a strong man. He could do this for 15 rounds. And Cabrera's quite glad to hear that bell, believe me. Terry Lawless, this is proving to be some fight, isn't it?
Yeah, Cabrera's moaning a little bit for nothing. He's getting caught around the waistband. They're not really low punches. You know, I couldn't see that the one that he did the slow-mo on, but the others are really around the waistband. What I think's happened is that he starts each round, he knows he's got to get Barry going backwards. When he was fresh and he had those first couple of rounds and pushed him back on his back foot, then he had some success. But now as Barry's beginning to find the range and, you know, as the fight's going on, he's got to back off. And because this is where he plays right into Barry's hands.
This is one of those suspect punches from McGuigan. Another look.
Yeah, that was low.
That was low, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was low. Yeah.
That was the one, I think, that he didn't actually get told about because the referee was on the other side of Cabrera, and I don't think he saw it.
Yeah, as you said, Harry, I think he should be a little careful because, you know, I think this guy's looking to go home soon.
Well, they've paid a lot of money for their tickets to come to this fight in Dublin, but my word, it's been worth it. They've seen a fight. And there might be a lot more to come yet. Cabrera starting the rounds now rather better than he finishes them, naturally. Well, they weren't low. Beautiful punches into the body. McGuigan's left hook is the one that's doing the really good work here. Pouring in so much work, McGuigan. We've got the most amazing work rate. Still mustn't take any chances now, McGuigan. The man's still throwing a rather wicked-looking right. I'll tell you what, he stands up to a punch, does Cabrera. The fellow who knocked him out in 3 rounds must have a dig. Well, McGuigan now keeping a very firm control on this. Not giving Cabrera too much chance to work, as a matter of fact. The boy from the Dominican Republic is still very much in there. trying to win this. He's a rather better challenger than Bernard Taylor, and Bernard Taylor was the top man, the top challenger. Well, I think this corner will be pretty happy with the way things are going. Would you agree with that, Terry?
Yeah, I think mentally he's gone in there to fight as best he can. I think he's gone in to do his best, and then he knows, like a sparring session, someone's going to knock him out of there. Whereas Barry's gone in ready to have a 15-round fight. And I think as every round comes on, you see that he's getting progressively slower. And I think if Barry just steadies up a little bit, I think he got rattled by that warning for the low punch. I think if he just steadies up a little bit, but he's not really clipped him with one real good punch. He's not caught him with a real good punch. He's caught him with a lot of punches, not one real good one.
What would you think, roughly, the score at the moment?
I would think McGuigan's, if I've not kept the score, I would think McGuigan's in front. I would have had him a couple, say 3 rounds in front without the round taken away from him.
And the eye of McGuigan beginning to discolour. But it's not closing. They've kept the swelling under control using the iron. Solid right hand that Cabrera dug into the body. Still a bit of strength there. Both of them perhaps just taking a slight breather and fought at a very fast pace. Big right there. Notice how he's always commanding the centre of the ring. The other man's always being made to work on the outside, going further. There's a cut on McGuigan's face. Left eye. So more trouble. We haven't seen him in this sort of trouble before. And now he knows he's got to work. He knows the cut is on his face and he's going for the finish. I think it's underneath the eye. Doing his best to finish it here and now, and Cabrera's all over the shop, hanging on for dear life. He doesn't know where he is. He's been put under such an attack there. McGuigan in his own corner now, working to get this over. The gun shield has come out of the challenger's mouth. Is he going to finish it here? He felt the blood on his face, and the bell's ringing and nobody can hear it. Nobody can hear it. It's been stopped. It's all over. And they are protesting like mad in the Cabrera corner. I thought I heard the bell before he stopped it. And the referee's gone over to the timekeeper to ask about that. But the McGuigan camp have accepted that they've won. There is a tremendous protest coming from the Cabrera corner now. So, he was certainly in a lot of trouble, Cabrera, in the corner. And And then I heard the bell, at least I thought I did. And then the referee signaled that it was over. And I don't think it is over. It is not over. It is not over. He consulted the timekeeper, and the timekeeper obviously said, I rang the bell before you stopped it. And so, absolute chaos and pandemonium here. They have to go on. The McGuigan camp and all McGuigan supporters believe they've won, but they have to go on. And I wonder how much Cabrera really wants to go on. His corner want him to, but does he? Those were desperate moments for the referee. Ed Edcott from Miami, United States. He made a brave decision there to change his mind. Well, what a sensation this fight's turning out to be. McGuigan's cut is underneath the left eye, like a crescent moon. How much has Cabrera got left? McGuigan comes in, head down, rubs his head into Cabrera's face, and he's trying to get it over in this round if he didn't get it over in the last. The blood running down the face of McGuigan again. Round 9. 6,000 people now willing McGuigan to finish it. And Cabrera, you've got to hand it to him. He's putting up some fight here. He was in such trouble in the last round, and he's still lively on his feet here. The fight that was thought to be an 8-1 on fight has suddenly turned out to be almost a nightmare for McGuigan. McGuigan standing in close, still striking, but even he's beginning to look tired. He watched Cabrera again, and Cabrera's in the same place he was in when the referee stopped it, or thought he stopped it. Good punches from McGuigan, and Cabrera's in trouble again. Slows down in the last minute of every round. And McGuigan can't get rid of him. How badly he needs to. Challenger from there's the bell. Third this time, and McGuigan goes back again for more attention to that curving cut on the cheekbone under the left eye. And now in the other corner, Cabrera's got eye trouble too. He's got a small cut near the left eye. So a fight of fouls and cuts, an extraordinary incident. And the second's in Cabrera's corner, working hard on the left eye. Can't be too bad. We didn't notice it during the round. It's only a graze, I think, but it's on the outside of the left eye. Well, such incidents, it makes you wonder what's going to happen before we come to the finish. it's gone further now than anybody expected it would. World title fight in 8 months, and in some ways it's the most difficult of the lot. McGuigan piling up the points, doing most of the scoring. The man still comes popping back at him with jabs. Looking very sprightly on his feet again, but he does tend to fade towards the end of each round. Although McGuigan hasn't put quite as much pressure on in this round as he did in the previous. In fact, Cabrera is getting into this a bit. Beginning to look almost confident. And McGuigan had better do something about that. Definitely coming back into this. Used his legs well in this round. I wouldn't have thought he'd got that sort of strength in his legs to do it, but he has. And he's giving McGuigan an awful lot of problems. Take a deep, deep breath as he goes back to his corner. Terry, this is an extraordinary fight. What do you make of it?
Well, you never cease to be amazed in this business, Harry. I thought that when the referee looked like he stopped it, I didn't think the other guy would get through the next round. And I think Barry tried just a little bit too hard to get rid of him. Because the round previous to that, he'd set him up. That round, he just run out and threw everything and missed and got himself a little bit out of breath. I think he'll steady up now.
It can't be easy to come back to a fight you think you finished with.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a kick to nothing, hasn't he, from day one. You know, everybody's expected a nice, easy little work out here, and he's got to try and pump himself up for this fight. But this guy really is trying. He's hanging in there.
You wouldn't fancy him in the other corner if it was your man, eh?
I've never seen anything like this tonight. I mean, really, it's been a day of, you know, a day of days to me here.
Day of days and a night of nights in Dublin, the 11th. And the challenger's still in there. And the most unexpected thing of all is beginning to loom, that this might just go to 15. Steadied his boxing up a bit, and Terry suggested he might, and he's not going wild, he's just trying to box the man now. is the great thing about McGuigan. This is what makes him a good champion, that he can switch tactics in the middle of the fight. He can box when he has to box, and he can fight when he has to fight. But he can't get rid of Cabrera. He's done so much work on Cabrera, and yet the tough brown man from the Dominican Republic is still looking dangerous. This is a much tougher fight for McGuigan than the Pedrosa one ever was. And that's astonishing. McGuigan's kept control of this round for most of it, but he's had to work hard to do it. And suddenly Cabrera looks strong at the ends of rounds now, and he didn't before. As the bell, they have to keep ringing it to make it heard, and he's taken one after the bell, but nobody heard it up there, including the referee. It's a measure of the sort of noise that you get outside the ring when McGuigan fights. They can't hear the bell. They really ought to have some sort of extra amplification for the bell when he fights, because it can lead to very awkward incidents as we've seen tonight. I've seen no further trouble at all from that left eye of Cabrera's, but they're still working on it. It's up on the, just under the eyebrow, but it can't be much of a cut, and I've seen no blood. Actually, when you look at the two of them, McGuigan looks as though he's losing the fight by a mile, but he's not. He's the one with all the marks. Would you agree with that? He doesn't look like the fellow who's losing, does he?
Yeah, he looks like he's been in the war, yeah, but he's winning the fight, all right. Now, instead of trying to knock the guy out, should go behind the jab, then he might do it. You know, he's doing more damage with the jab than he's anything else.
Well, you've got very long odds indeed against this fight getting to the 12th round. It's a 15-rounder, remember, under WBA rules. If it were WBC, this would be the last round. But under World Boxing Association rules, 15 rounds. Not a lot behind those punches of Cabrera's. Pushing him up. Cabrera boxing very, very intelligently. Forward, forward all the time, McGuigan. Never stopped coming forward in this fight, and he's always been in the centre. He heard him. Everybody thought this fight was over at the end of the 8th, and here we are in the 12th. And once again, as the bell goes, McGuigan's attacking furiously, but once again, Cabrera is still obstinately there, proving himself to be a most brave and competent challenger, much to the disturbance of this corner, who would have liked to have seen the back of Cabrera a long, long time ago. Well, there was one moment here when McGuigan looked to me as though he definitely hurt the challenger. And this is that moment. He ducks and punches downstairs. One or two of them looking again suspiciously low. And the last one sent him back on his heels again. So, this place packed, 6,500 people. Absolutely on the verge of tremendous excitement as we come to the closing stages now of what has proved to be one of the most astonishing fights seen for a long, long time. McGuigan trots out, trying to impress upon Cabrera that he still feels very fresh, even if he doesn't. Bit of elbow from McGuigan. So these two will deserve a long rest after this one. Cabrera has been much more effective since he was almost stopped when the bell saved him. That's a good right. Getting through with some heavy-looking punches, McGuigan. The 13th. Cabrera looks to his corner. McGuigan's face is marked and scarred and blotched. Good right again. McGuigan's giving him some stick. Is he going to be able to take it this time? He's in that same place again. Best round McGuigan has had for a long time, and still Cabrera comes forward. Astonishing how he stood up to this, Cabrera. How did that man ever knock him out in 3 rounds? And he gets one back. Less than 30 seconds of this round to go. They must seem like 10-minute rounds for these men. overwhelmingly McGuigan's round, but the man's still light on his feet. 2 to go, and he backpedals into his own corner, and McGuigan has to smile. He actually backpedaled all the way to his stool and neatly sat down, and it brought a smile to McGuigan's face. A round packed with action, and most of it coming from McGuigan. We can see some of it again. It's well worth a look at. This is the place in the ring where Cabrera has always found himself in trouble. This is where all the confusion happened when the bell went and they didn't hear it. Taking some good shots to the head here, missing some, taking others, but even then was light enough and strong enough on his feet to come back.
He's absolutely exhausted up there, Harry. You know, they're rubbing his belly, everything. It's, you know, really is tired up there.
14th round. 2 to go. And Cabrera's certainly going to find them tough rounds to go. And McGuigan comes running out again. The laces are undone on Cabrera's boots, which gives them a little extra time. I don't know whether that was a ploy, but or whether it was an accident.
Giving Barney more time to work on McGuigan's eye then.
Off we go. Round 14. The greatest fight night Dublin has ever seen. He catches Cabrera to the head again. Cabrera's out on his feet. He's down looking out into the commentator's face. And he's gone. His legs have gone and he's turned to his corner. And I don't think he wants to go on. But the referee has invited him to go on. And he's going to take a hammering. His gum shield is out. Round 14. And he can't stand on his legs. He's gone. The legs have gone and he's looking to his corner. He's looking for his gum shield. And the referee's saying, come on. Why doesn't the referee do something? The man's groping about on the floor. It's over. And not before time. The referee took too long to make up his mind. The man was groping about blindly on the floor to find his gum shield. And the referee was telling him to get on with it. And he didn't want to go on with it. And I can't blame him for that. So in the 14th round, we've come to the end of a truly amazing fight in which Barry McGuigan has successfully defended his WBA featherweight title for the second time. But he's been given the hardest fight he's ever had. Look at his face, marks all over it. He hammered and hammered and hammered away at the man from the Dominican Republic until finally Cabrera had to go, and even then the referee was reluctant to let him go. And as usual, bedlam inside those ropes. But in a moment or two, I'm going to climb up there and try and make some sense out of that lot. What did you think of that, Terry? What do you think of the finish? I mean,
Well, I was just thinking myself, they say there's no business like show business, but if anything can lick this tonight, I've not seen it.
What did you think? I mean, the referee's actions at the end there were extraordinary. He didn't seem to want to let the man turn it in.
I think he was a little bit weak at the end of the 8th round, and I think he was a little bit weak there. He certainly didn't have too much control at the finish there. The kid wanted to quit. He didn't quite know what to do.
Okay, Terry, thank you. I'm going to climb up into the ring.
And while he does climb up into the ring there, Harry, Alan and I will reflect a little bit on that fight. A wonderful fight, a wonderful night, except for the referee at the end there, who seemed to not know quite what was going on.
Yes, he panicked, didn't he?
He panicked.
He kept panicking. He kept giving warnings for low blows, which he had to do. But when the guy was, Cabrera was bending down to pick his gum shield up, he should have stopped the fight. You know, he just didn't know what to do.
What about the end of that 8th round, though? It looked as though he stopped it there. He didn't hear the bell, did he?
No, I mean, he was hurt, Cabrera, but no, I think it was on the bell. There would have been pandemonium in there because give the guy another chance because it was right on the bell, so you see here.
Some good action there. Yes, he was dying on his feet, really. He wanted it stopped himself, I think, there. He was
but the referee...
I'll tell you something, Biz. The thing is when you get these guys that work the fields and they come over to this country and they're hungry for success. Guys that have never even seen a colour television before. And they come to a European country and think, well, this is what I want for my family.
That's the end of the 8th round.
Here's the end, yeah.
That's well, there was confusion there, and more confusion right at the end. But I don't know what they put in the diet in the Dominican Republic, but I want some of it, because how did he keep going all the way?
I don't know. I think determination, pride, he wanted to be the champion. He's had a bit of the taste of this European life, and he's got a family, I believe, and he just wants the best for them. But didn't he box well?
He did. But what about McGuigan now? I mean, he's never been marked up like that for a start, has he?
It might have done him a favour, because he now knows how tough this boxing world is. I mean, all the time you're boxing and you're knocking people over, isn't it lovely? But then to take a bit of punishment yourself, he knows he's in a hard game, so he could have done him a favour.
Well, I think Harry Carpenter's ready for us. He's got McGuigan there.
Barry, congratulations. Have you got enough breath left to talk to me?
Oh, plenty of breath left. For certain opponents, very difficult to nail properly. Very slippery, and